How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Lambeau Field, where the Packers win their second straight playoff game, 10-3 over the Chicago Bears, and now get to play in the real NFC playoffs. As the number 6 seed in the NFC, they travel to NFC East champion Philadelphia on Sunday, where they'll play in a 3:30 kickoff against the Eagles, who they started the season by beating 27-20 in Philadelphia on September 12th. They'll be facing a totally different team, though. Michael Vick now the starter. He took over in the second half after Clay Matthews knocked Kevin Kolb out of that game, if you recall. Played very well against the Packers, rushed for over 100 yards. Dom Capers talked after the game today about how they'll be better off this time around because they have a game plan for him as opposed to expecting him to play only 6 to 8 plays in that first matchup. But he's still going to be a challenge, and Dom's absolutely right about that. As for the way the Packers play today, boy, they sure kept Packers fans on the edge of their seats, as a lot of people thought the Bears would come in here and not play to win, give the Packers a chance to kind of roll over them. That did not happen. Lovie Smith comes in, plays all of his starters under their normal circumstances, gives them every opportunity to win this game. The Packers' offense struggles. Their defense and Tim Masthay keep them in it with great punting, great turnover work, 2 turnovers on interceptions, plus 6 sacks of Cutler. Eric Walden, the newest name in the mix of sacks, with a pair of those today. Just an impressive defensive performance. And if you remember last year, the Packers went into the NFC playoffs as the second best defense in the league behind the Jets, but they had struggled defensively against some great quarterbacks. And then obviously Kurt Warner had a colossal day in the Packers' 51-45 loss to the Cardinals. This time they're going in playing very good defense. They had given up 2 plays of big yardage, including a big touchdown last week against the Giants, but today they were absolutely dominant. Get the 2 turnovers, get the sacks, come up with big stops when this defense had to come through. They put themselves in a really good position today, and they saved an offense that looked, as Joe Philbin talked about after the game, dysfunctional. Took them a while to get going. They had penalties. Brian Bulaga struggled today. Another drop by Greg Jennings on what would have been probably a 50-yard touchdown. So they had their issues. Aaron Rodgers was critical of his own play and of his offensive play as a whole. But this is a team that's going to the playoffs, and let's think about it. They didn't have it easy all year, whether it was their up and down performances, the injuries they've dealt with, some bad bounces going against them. This was a rough year for them, but they still finished 10-6, and they overcome the Bears to advance to the postseason. We'll be here all week with your playoff coverage as the Packers' wild card game gets closer against Michael Vick and Andy Reid and the Eagles. You can tune in here for our traditional Wednesday feature with intern Jackie, her 5 questions. Back for another week as long as the Packers keep playing. You'll get to watch Jackie, which I know you guys prefer over watching me by myself at Lambeau Field after games. We'll also take your questions on green and gold today, so make sure you tune in for that every weekday from 10 to 11 Central Time on ESPNWisconsin.com. And, of course, I'll answer your tweets and your questions via email. Jason J. Wilde is the Twitter handle, and jwilde at ESPNWisconsin.com is my email. Once again, the Packers emerge with a big victory. They knew they had to win because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had won earlier in the day. New York Giants actually wind up winning as well, but once the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in, that meant the Packers had to win. Don't tell the folks at Fox Sports, though, because apparently they didn't realize that with as much as they talked about what was going on with the Giants. Anyway, Packers 10, Bears 3. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.